Hello everybody, it is me Darcy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to this, the Unnamed Podcast, where I sit here with this guy for about a time, talking rubbish or whatever else comes to my mind. Usually my mind, barely ever his mind, because I am the main character of this world.
Oh,
Hey, you know it's true. Guys, welcome back. It's almost over halfway through the year. Well, it is halfway through the year.
it is over.
It is over. But like we're almost in the seventh month of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is officially when you're like, we're in the back end of the year, boys and girls.
Yeah, okay,
we're
fair
in the back end. Because like technically the 12th month also has like 30 days of it.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, we're almost in the back half of the year.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting year. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Some stuff's happened.
Yeah.
Some stuff that I care about's also happened. But mostly things I don't give a shit about has happened.
For the most part,
I think that's
generally
the big
how
thing.
it goes. Yeah.
I'm not the most worried about shit that happens all over the world because I'm like, man, I can barely control things in my own life.
Fair.
So yeah, but it's been a year and we're almost well past the halfway point.
Yeah.
But guys, that's not what we're here to talk about. As never is. So as we often do, let's begin with a little bit of channel news. Kris, take it away.
Okay. Indeed. So this week, Monday, nothing.
I can explain that one. Right?
Okay. I'm waiting.
So I had a really big weekend, right? So to kick it off, Saturday. So last weekend, while I was playing softball, it was a double header, right?
Yep.
And on the Sunday when I didn't have to play or do anything, one of the people who's involved in running the club I'm a part of, I've been talking about doing umpiring for a while, but she let slip to the head of the umpires that I was planning on doing it, and so I had to umpire last week.
I see.
It was like my first ever plate, well, not my first ever, but my first plate in a very long time, and my first plate on an actual adult game. Like I've done it in junior games before.
Okay.
It's a whole different vibe because in junior games, they're juniors. No one knows the rules. You can get away with whatever you want. But in seniors, it's like, okay, I've got to do this properly and all that kind of crap. But anyway, that was last weekend, right?
Yeah.
So last weekend, the head umpire goes, "Oh, you want to learn how to umpire? Okay, I'll give you a run. We'll see how good you are." And she was like, "Oh, I'm actually very happy with you. You obviously know the game and you know how an umpire should act during the game. Obviously, I've played softball my whole life. I've played baseball my whole life. I am an avid baseball fan. I kind of understand what the umpire should be doing."
Yeah.
So that leads us to this weekend, right? Now, this weekend, our softball competition had a massive kind of exhibition day. So a team came down from Mackay, played our A-grade men's team in 2 games, and then we had under 18s versus Opens women's.
Okay. Yep.
So I got to softball at like 9 o'clock-ish, a little bit later, but like basically 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Watched the end of the under 13 game. I don't have a lot to do with them. They're too little for me to kind of take and coach. They're just too little. But then I coached the under 16, so I did that. Then pretty much as soon as I finished that, I had to go umpire one of the A-grade exhibition games.
Okay.
So that was like an hour and a half of me literally running around in the sun. Because I'm running left and right and they're hitting the ball big because they're A-graders. That's what they do. Yeah. I'm running around the diamond. Then I had to go and play my own game, which is another hour and a half of being out there.
Not running as much though.
I'm an outfielder, so yeah, a bit.
Ah, shit.
Technically, I can play anywhere except first base. I've like only played first base once in my entire life.
How'd you manage that?
I'm not a first baseman. I am a specialized catcher. I've spent a lot of time catching.
Okay.
But if you're a catcher, you kind of only have one. So if there's another catcher as well, you play other positions. So I've played every position except first base because you also have you'll have your first base person who is a first base player. Yeah. And they play first base, and you have. And like every position in baseball is sort of like, and softball is sort of like position aware. So it's like, you're an outfielder. You can play anywhere in the outfield. You know what you're doing. Yeah. You're a shortstop. You know how to play shortstop. You're a third base person. As you get more and more advanced in the game, you only play one or two positions.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Makes sense.
being a specialized at that position makes you better at that position, which means if you want to go professional, you need to be good at that position.
Obviously.
But when I started, I played nearly every position, but I never played first base because we always had someone who was a good first base person.
Well, fair.
And you want someone who's a good first base person. They're constantly being used.
Well, yeah.
So I'd never played it until coming back this year and playing it in my first game back.
Fine.
Look, it's not that hard. I know what to do.
Right,
It's just that I'm not a first base player.
It would, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Makes sense.
It's not really. It's sort of a waste because I can read the ball really well, and a first base player doesn't do a lot of fielding. They do a lot of receiving of the ball.
Yeah.
Whereas everywhere else they'll do a lot of fielding, and in catcher they'll do a lot of control of the game.
Yeah.
And so catcher is my preferred position. I like to control the game, but outfield is kind of my next preferred position because I get to do a lot of running and, catching and throwing and all the fun stuff.
Oh, of course, yes.
But anyway, I digress. Point is, I then played my game. I then came off my game and then got told I was umpiring another game, the next exhibition game between the under 18s and the women.
Yeah.
And so I, again, base umpired that, which means I'm standing out there running around because we only have 2 umpires because we're not professional. So I'm sprinting around, if the ball goes somewhere, I've got to pretty much run and make sure I can see what's happening. And so I'm running around the diamond. That game finishes.
Yeah.
And then my team had a base umpire the next game. But I was the only person left there from my team because it was a 6:30 start.
Yeah.
And so I left softball on Saturday at about 8:15 p.m.
Yeah.
So I've been there for almost 12 hours at that point.
Yeah.
And so it was a big day. And I got home, I had dinner, had a shower, and pretty much fell asleep straight away, which is rare for me. I do not ever fall asleep before midnight ever. But
it's super weird.
that night I was just out cold.
Yeah.
Woke up Sunday, had some stuff I had to run, errands and stuff, and editing video, obviously. So I did all that, and this is a really, really long story to say. I was just super tired, and so Sunday evening, I'm sitting there being like, "Yep, upload the video," and I'm standing there staring at it, and it was just one of those situations where I was really tired, and I thought I'd done something that I didn't do. I just never uploaded the video, so I just spent an hour staring at the YouTube studio page, doing nothing. And I was just like, "Yep, this is good. I'm gonna put it on YouTube as well while I wait for this to upload."
Yep.
And then I was like, "Oh, look, it's not saying uploading anymore, so it must be done." And I never did it.
Okay.
So,
Jesus Christ.
that's what happened to Monday's video. I quite literally thought I uploaded it when I didn't because I was just in super tired mode.
Jesus.
And these things happen. These things happen occasionally. So what happens when it's everything's on my shoulders.
Nah, it doesn't sound right. I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you'll also notice there was I don't think there was any shorts on Sunday either. Or Saturday. One of those days.
I'm not sure.
Because I was just like, I need to do this, and I was like, no,
I'm done.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was what happened to Monday's video. It was supposed to be the video that came out on Wednesday.
Yep.
But I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, well, I already have this video that I've edited. I might as well just put it out Wednesday.
Yeah, might as well.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
It's 100% what I did.
So that sorts out Monday.
That is there. That's what happened. Really? So if you guys were wondering, we haven't stopped putting things out on a Monday. It was just one of those situations where I literally thought I'd done something. I actually don't remember if I put any of this in to the one of the Minecrafts we filmed.
Yeah.
But one of the Minecrafts we filmed, I was very tired, and Kris literally asked me to do something for him, and I was like, "Yep, no worries." And it was just to do with settings and making sure everything was working right. I'm like, "Don't worry, I've got this." And it's like, "So, is it fixed?" And I'm like, "What? Sorry, what? I did." Oh, sorry, I've just been staring at a blank screen for 5 minutes. I literally told him I was going to do something. This again was a day I was very tired, and I told him I was going to do something. I just kind of sat there being like, "What? No.
I was supposed to be doing something?
I'm like, I'm sorry, I thought I was. I'm like, I touched nothing, but I thought I was doing something.
In my mind, I was moving.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, what I thought I was doing was this. What I was actually doing was just staring at the screen.
They're fun ones. They're the fun days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, it generally happens to me when I'm super tired, and like I think I was the most tired any person can ever be after last Saturday. And I think I figured it out to something.
Sure.
Oh, I figured it out to something like doing 6 hours of standing in the sun and running.
Yeah.
And whilst I don't have to run the full 60 feet between each base, I do have to do all 3 bases. So I was probably, every time I was running, which was like every time a ball was hit,
Yeah.
I was probably running, close to 100 meters.
Fair.
And it's not like, oh yeah, I'm just going to jog 100 meters. It was like, run here, run there, run around. And then it's like, okay, now get back to your position. And it's like, oh, shit, okay. So there was a few times where it's like, I've run all the way around the thing, and then it's like, yep, okay, sweet. And then in the time it takes from the batter to walk like 3 meters,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, I have to get back around to the other side of the field because that's where I'm supposed to be standing now.
Yeah. That's
I was like, shit, sprinting. Like, seriously, at one point I'm like standing there and I'm just like, because one of my positions is standing just behind, like, just over near the shortstop.
Yeah.
I'm standing there, I'm like, okay, all of the footprints in the dirt over here belong to me. I'm like, the shortstop hasn't moved from their like little square where I can see all their footprints. I'm like, every other footprint out here is mine.
Yep. Fair enough.
It was practically flat from all of my footprints.
Yeah.
I was just like, fuck. Okay.
I moved too much.
Yeah, I was like fucking sprinting.
Guys, fuck you all.
And then because like you're not supposed to be like, especially when you're in the field, you don't want to be standing tall. You want to be kind of down lower so that you're not obstructing you're not obstructing anyone's view.
Yeah.
And you're a lot less likely to get hit if you make yourself a smaller target.
Oh yeah.
The ball comes flying at you. If you're a smaller target, you'll still get hit.
Yeah.
Which,
but at least you protect some stuff.
Well, softball and baseball has this really fun rule where the umpire is the ground.
Yeah.
So if the ball hits me, it's like, yeah, play on. And then I still have to make the call. It's like, bang! Oh, yep, you're out. But, no, so if the umpire gets hit by the ball, it's play on. It's just, the umpire is considered part of the ground.
Okay.
So it's like, you got to make yourself small. So part of that is like, you got to kind of get down into like a semi-squat.
Yeah.
Every pitch.
Yeah.
And so I did that for, as I said, I did 3 games of umpiring, which is roughly, and I say roughly because I know the first game went long.
Yeah.
But it's roughly an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And unlike the players, I don't get a half an innings where I get to go sit down in the shade and have a drink of water.
Fair.
It's like I get to run around the field, come in, talk to the other umpire, discuss any things we need to discuss, watch the pitcher, make sure no fights happen, and then go back and stand in my position.
God damn it.
So I was very, very tired on Saturday.
Yeah.
But that was Saturday. So let's talk about Wednesday then.
Yeah. So Wednesday today, is Witchfire was.
I almost got him.
To what?
Well, because I said.
Because I normally say today, Wednesday.
You went, yeah, Wednesday. Well, wait, no, today.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it every time.
No, he's not. He already hasn't. But let's move on. Especially if we ever get to doing this live, it would make no sense to say Wednesday when we're on a Friday. Today when we're on a Friday.
No, it would still make sense to say today. It's on a Friday. No, 100%. If we're live on a Friday, I can still just say today because we're live on Friday.
No, yeah, but you wouldn't say what came out on Wednesday today. No, you would, because it wouldn't be today. It would be Wednesday.
Well, fair enough. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just me saying it today would make sense.
My point.
Fair enough. I'll give you that.
That's my point. I'm just making points. Anyway, yes, on Wednesday, Witchfire came out, guys. A continuation of what's been happening. Good news is I got my stuff back. And I think I figured out the freezing issues. So hopefully we can push forwards without any more major issues.
And what do you think was happening?
I think it was just like what I did was I just lowered the shadow quality.
Oh. Yeah, fair enough.
And
that'll do it.
I was like, cool. So I lowered a bunch of like sliders and stuff and turned off things like variable frame rate and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, fair
just,
enough.
like all the stuff that's like, oh, when you're playing it, it makes it seem a little bit more seamless, but it's like, when you're trying to record it and you're playing it at the same time, it's like, yeah, this is doing fuck all because your recording software is still just your recording software. It can only record what it can record.
Well, obviously.
And yeah, basically what you're doing is you're just overheating your PC for no visible gain.
I don't know, it could be really cold and you could be near your PC.
Yeah, but that's not a visible gain.
No, it could be visible. Initially, you started by shaking. Now, you're no longer shaking.
And I live in Queensland where,
I know. It doesn't get that cold.
Surprisingly, it has been a cooler winter than usual, but
just not the last couple of nights.
Even that's like, hey, it's been cooler than usual. It's gotten down to under 20 degrees regularly.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, guys, it was Witchfire. I get back in, I get my stuff back. I get a little bit annoyed at myself because
you did something stupid.
Sort of.
Okay, I want to know how stupid this was. If it was
basically, I have some new weaponry, right? Because I unlocked some new weaponry. So basically, if you've played the game, if you haven't, I would suggest playing it. It's actually kind of fun. But you unlock weapons and then you can level them up. And you've got to basically do a whole bunch of different tasks to unlock different things to level things up differently. And I have my shotgun, which I haven't leveled up yet. So I'm in, I grab my stuff. I'm like, okay, I can leave right now. I've got all my stuff.
Yeah.
Or I can just keep going through and then hopefully level up my shotgun, make sure I'm ready for the next one where I intend to actually do the mission and, like, get all the stuff I need to get to go to the next area. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, what I'll do is I'll go for the level up. So I'm running around killing things, trying to just get as much stuff as possible to make myself as strong as possible so that when I come back to do the actual mission, I'm in a better position.
Okay, yeah.
And so at some point I check what I need to do to level up my shotgun. It's like, oh, I've got to kill 25 guys. It's pretty standard for any new gun. You got to kill 25 people with it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool because I've already killed 9, so I'll just go killing. Mind you, limited ammo, right? That's the thing that we deal with.
Yeah.
So I'm killing, bang, bang, bang. I run out of ammo for my shotgun. I'm like, okay, well, now it's time to go. I'm like, I'm out of ammo for my shotgun. I might as well go. I head back to the portal. There's 3 guys there. I shoot one of them. I have 1 bullet left in my shotgun, sorry. So when I shoot him with my normal gun, he takes half damage, and then I run in, blow his head off with my shotgun. He drops ammo. I grab it, run back, shoot, weaken them both, the last 2 remaining guys, get my shotgun, which now has 2 bullets because I picked up that ammo.
Oh, nice.
Shoot both of them, they drop ammo. No more bad guys around, so I'm like, oh well, I only have like 4 bullets left for my shotgun.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no point going hunting down more bad guys because I only have 4 bullets.
Well, yeah.
So I leave. When I leave, I check. I only needed 1 more kill with my shotgun. So 4 bullets would have done it.
Yeah, it would have definitely done it.
But I never checked, and I was very furious at myself for not checking, because if I had checked, I would have been like, oh, well, I have enough ammo to go and get this last kill.
Yeah.
And I only need to get 1 kill, and then I can just run away. I don't need to finish it off, plus my other gun had a fuck ton of ammo. But I was just like, yeah, because I never checked, because I didn't do that one thing that I should have done, which was check, I instead ended up
having to reload to get you 1 kill.
No, I just got it. I didn't level up my shotgun until after I completed the mission.
Well, fair enough.
So I was just like, oh, I guess I don't get to go in with a leveled up shotgun. To be fair, the leveled up shotgun would have been nice. It wouldn't have been uber helpful though. Its level up ability is really cool, but I'm not really a close range fighter. I'm more mid to long.
Yeah.
So its power up is like, oh, when you kill someone with a charged up melee, you can get up to half a magazine back. Which is really good.
Yeah. That's
but again, I don't particularly like to be that close to people to kill them. I use my melee very sparingly.
Whereas I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of something I would love to see in this Witchfire game. As I said, I don't know how. I've still got to finish it. I haven't really played that much of it, guys. Other than what you've seen on the recordings, and probably like a little bit before that, like maybe 2 or 3 hours before that.
Yeah.
Is all I've played. So I haven't really gone far into it. I don't really know a whole lot about it. But I will say this. It's a very fun kind of universe. I think it's got a really good setting. And I think it could easily be put together as like a 2 or 3 player kind of game.
Yeah.
Where you and 2 of your mates go in. Obviously, the level you guys have seen me play is a little bit easy for that. But you could easily make it more difficult by just upping the enemy count and
or durability there.
The durability is actually pretty good as it is, because it makes it feel realistic. Like, as I said, you shoot someone in the head and they lose most of their health. It's like, you're like, okay, that's good. You don't want to take it away, so like you're pumping them in the head and getting critical hits, and they're just like tanking critical hits. But there are more elite enemies.
Yeah, fair.
So you could have, instead of, if you're playing, you could have more elite enemies, more enemies in general.
Yeah, because there are games out there that do adjust based on whether.
But I think as a multiplayer game, it would be really, really good, because there's some bosses and stuff that you can fight that are more spongy, and having a team kind of loadout where people are long range, people are short range would be fun. Like, even if it was just a co-op, but I don't know. Maybe it's something that they'll look at in like a follow-up game.
Yeah, maybe
working on bigger areas and stuff. But the thing is, like, the average kind of low level enemy isn't difficult, but that's sort of the point. And even if there were multiple of you, you just want more of them, not more difficult.
Yeah. Because
I always find the thing is actually one of the most difficult parts about the game is resource management.
Okay.
You know, you've got melee, but you've also got charged melee, which does more damage. But that obviously needs time to recharge. You've got magic spells and everything, but again, they recharge. And you've got a very limited amount of bullets.
Yeah.
So it's not like a Call of Duty where you go in and you're like, don't worry, guys, I got 300 bullets. It's like, cool, I have 28 shotgun shells.
Fair.
So it's all about resource management and how you manage what you're doing with those resources. So having more people is just, I think a balance would be just less ammo per person, so that you've actually got to work more as a team, and finding those ammo spots and getting like the small scraps of ammo that you sometimes get from killing enemies is actually more valuable.
True. Fair.
And you know, actually being like, okay guys, I really need the ammo and resource management. But as I said, it would be an interesting game to see played multiplayer. I think it's a very good looking game. It's got a cool story. I think it'd be a very cool thing to do.
Yeah, of course.
But so Witchfire, we played Witchfire. We managed to defeat the Wailing Tower or its guardians, killed them. They weren't too difficult without the game freezing up. I was able to do that pretty handily. And it was I've now managed to unlock the next thing. I still have some stuff to do in this first world. Some stuff I thought I'd done, but apparently I haven't. So I've got to go back and do that. But there's still a lot to do in the game. Obviously, I've only unlocked the second place, which is a place I've only ever gone to once. So in that 3 or so hours I was playing before I started recording, I went there once and got immediately destroyed, because the enemies there are a lot harder and have a completely different strategy to the enemies in the first place. So that was kind of interesting, and we'll see how we go with it as we go on. But Witchfire, I'm having a lot of fun playing it, and I hope you guys are enjoying watching it.
Yes, indeed. But other than that, we are now at 295 for our subscriber count.
That was the count last time I saw it. So
still very close. We're almost there.
Still just puttering along, doing the things that we do. Videos being watched, all that kind of gear. So we'll keep doing things, guys. As always, like, if you do have any suggestions, if you have things you want to see us do, put them in the comments, man. We do read them. I read them.
But for the most part, so
And if it's within my capabilities, then absolutely we'll give it a go, and we'll give it a go.
Well, that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, well, we're entertainers.
Then you get to come in and watch us fail at the game.
generally.
Yeah.
Generally.
We're not great.
No. However, with a few things have changed recently, so hopefully we'll see a few more games on different games on the channel, as well as the beloved ones. But yeah, obviously Friday, you're watching this one. This Saturday, the Minecraft will be different. So me and Kris haven't filmed another one together. We'll probably film that sometime this weekend.
Yeah.
However, I will film another one. I have some changes I have to make to my house. That's something that I have to do. But probably what I will film and release on Saturday is probably starting to set up the Halloween challenge. There's a lot of minutiae stuff that I kind of want to play around with. A lot of redstone kind of stuff I want to play around with. So best to get on that early, I say. And so I think 3 months should give me enough time.
You'd hope so.
Yeah. Well, I also have to do the Christmas challenge, guys. And the thing about the Christmas challenge is that last year we did the present.
Yeah.
This year I want to do another winter. It's winter themed. That's what makes it Christmas, right?
Obviously.
Even though it's summer here. Don't think too much about that.
Yeah.
But this time it's going to be a little bit different. And so it's not going to take... It's not going to be like, the challenge itself is super complex and I've got to learn how to do redstone stuff. I might do some redstone stuff. Maybe. But what's actually going to make this one difficult is the fact that my plan requires a large amount of space. So it's just going to be a big build.
Yeah.
And big builds take a lot of time.
Of course.
So, yeah. I'm kind of figuring out how I'm going to do it. I have the idea in my head for what I want it to be, and now I just kind of have to figure out how to do it. And then obviously because of what it is, there will obviously be like some other cool stuff around as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a kind of a whole lot going on in my mind where I'm just like, what do I do? How do I do it? How big do I need to make it? And that's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
But so I've got 2 challenges to make. Both of them are probably going to take a bit of time. So moving into the end part of the year, I kind of need to get on those. Like, even though Christmas is still going to be like 6 months away.
Oh, of course.
And Halloween's going to be the better part of 3 months away.
Yeah. It's gonna take a bit.
Yeah. Thing is, like, especially when it comes to Minecraft, I have the ability to build things because that is something that I'm really actually quite passionate about, is building. Yeah. It's just my method is kind of like, build this, see if you like it. If you don't like it, pull it down pull it down to where you do like it and build up new.
Yeah.
So it's not the fastest. It's not kind of like, when it comes to Minecraft, I'm not a measure twice, cut once kind of guy. I'm a feel the vibe, see if it works kind of guy.
Fair.
And so that means that a lot of the time it's kind of like, is this done what I want it to do? No? Okay, well, let's change things up and let's...
Yeah.
But, yeah. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully I will be able to make what I envision in my mind, and it'll be cool and fun and awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Hope so.
But yeah, that's all we can hope.
And then the Halloween challenge, obviously, again, going to be a little bit... It's not going to be as big as the Christmas challenge, but it is going to be a little bit more complex.
Yeah.
Because to give away a little bit there, I don't want to give away anything on the Christmas challenge because I still have to see if I can actually get that to work. But the Halloween challenge, I kind of want to make like a haunted house exploration type thing. So we're going to try and make some secret doors and stuff like that as well.
Don't put wool in it.
This guy.
Look, I've only done it once. Haven't had a second chance.
But other than that, guys, hope in the coming weeks, hopefully, we'll get some more time to film.
Yeah. Meaning
that we can, restock our stuff. Can be difficult sometimes. But it's also, like, we just kind of have to meet up our schedules over the next like 3 weeks, because
Pretty much, yeah.
I've got 3 weeks where I can actually do stuff, and Kris has. When I say I can actually do
some
stuff,
time in amongst it.
I don't have the massive break that I usually have. Where it's like, oh, I need to edit a video. Oh, I need to record a video. Oh, I also have this 6-hour period where I can't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, we can hopefully get a lot of recording done. As I said, I still have to do a lot. I have to do a lot of deleting. That's on me. Get rid of all of the videos we no longer need, because Kris can attest my storage is running low. But
just a tad. It's all in the red.
That's pretty standard. That's pretty standard.
Yeah, it's
I live my life on the edge of like just being able to install the things I want to install, and that's like cool.
Occasionally not being able to finish recording a video.
Occasionally, yeah.
That has happened multiple times.
It tends to happen in the bigger videos though, because
of course.
like, you know, when you're filming a Satisfactory and it's like 80 gig or whatever, you're kind of like, yeah, I think I have enough, and then it's like, yeah, no, this one's a big one. And
Which
like,
I never check. So just have the space.
I as I said, I am constantly checking, because even with like 6 hard drives, I have no space.
Yes. Again, I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem with yours.
Look, one of these
Get
days,
another 2, you'll be okay.
One of these days, I'm actually going to get what I want, which is a little external hard drive case. Like, so it's a little case outside of the PC, which can hold 5 hard drives. And I can put 4 terabytes in each of those slots.
Of course.
And that's going to give me a lot more space. And that will be purely for channel-related things.
And he's still going to be in the red.
But until that day, I kind of have to make do with what I've got.
Yes.
It's a little bit like everything. I have a lot of things I'm like, I really want to do this, but then I have other things that also I'm like, I should spend money there. I need to spend my money here, and I you know, you need to be wise with your money.
Of course.
And it's like, whilst I'd really like that, so that, you know, my life would be easier.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just not in the cards right now.
No.
But anyway.
Yeah.
I
think that.
I don't think there's anything else for channel news.
No, I think that about sorts it out on that one,
guys. Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we can just move on, and we can say, hey, Kris, guess what?
I can see that. Yeah, I was gonna say I saw the no controller, and I saw something a bit more blocky back there.
You say a bit more blocky. It's actually smaller than the last Xbox that was back there.
It's true, but it was noticeable that it wasn't the old Xbox.
Well, that's also because the old Xbox was, you know, coloured.
Yes, it was
a special.
My first giveaway was the fact that you now have a green controller.
Yes, I do.
That threw me off for a second. I'm like, oh, he's got it.
I got the green one, which I've actually come to like a lot. Like, it's very nice. I still want to get the yellow and the purple one because they're swaggy. But I now have 2 controllers for my Xbox.
Yes,
that both work all the time, every time. I will say this, right? There's a lot to unpack with getting the new Xbox, and I think we should start with probably the biggest issue I'm having. And I don't even think this is an Xbox issue. I think this is just a general issue in society, which is I bought the Xbox Sunday.
Yeah. You're still installing everything.
Well, yes, that's like I've been installing the Xbox X games.
Yeah.
And like each one of those is like, oh, don't worry, we're an old game. We're only 132 gig.
I know, right? Yeah.
Now, I didn't end up getting the 2 terabyte, and I kind of regret that almost instantaneously.
Immediately, yes. Yeah.
Because the thing is, it needs more than a terabyte. I almost can't believe that the people making these consoles are sitting there going, a terabyte should be good. It's like, motherfucker, you're making games that are almost 200 gigabytes. A terabyte is not good. A terabyte's like when you're playing the Xbox 360 and they're like, here's a 125 megabyte card.
Yeah.
And you're like, bitch, that's not even enough for a single game.
No.
That's what a terabyte is now.
Yeah.
We need consoles that have maybe 10 terabytes in them.
Yeah, pretty much.
That would and they might go like, oh, that's too much. And it's like, doesn't matter. That's the thing.
No, here we are with 2 terabytes and even like a 4 terabyte hard drive plugged into it, and we're still having to delete stuff frequently.
Yeah. I'm going to look at getting one of the expansion card thing,
Yeah.
I'm going to look at getting the 2 terabyte one, which will give me 3 terabytes of internal storage,
Yeah.
which will be nice.
Yeah.
Not enough, but nice. But I've kind of, with this, I've come to the decision that it really is like, so I spent getting the controller as well. I spent about just over $800, right?
Yeah, that's about right.
Which, is fair. I got another controller, so the console wasn't super expensive.
Yeah.
But I still spent $800, and I've had it for 3 days, and I'm already at the point where I'm like, okay, I've got to move some stuff around so that I can fit enough stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, had I spent maybe $200 more to get the 2 terabyte version, I wouldn't quite be in this predicament yet.
True.
I'd still be close to this predicament, but I wouldn't be there yet.
Yeah.
But then I went, however, to get more storage, I have to get a card that costs $400. That's half the system in itself.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just sitting there going, consoles can't keep doing this anymore.
No.
Like, oh yeah, we're getting you the new console. It's going to be about $1,000, and at that point you're just going to be like, I'll just make myself a PC.
Oh yeah. 100%.
It's like, oh, but the new no, I'll make myself a PC. 1, it'll last longer. 2, there'll be no constraints. 3, if I need more storage, I can literally just get another hard drive and plug it into it.
And it's not that expensive.
It's not that expensive.
Yeah.
And I can get, I don't have to get like these specific ones. It's like, oh yeah, you can get this, that chip, right? That chip is 2 terabytes, something like $400.
Yeah.
I think that's what I looked at, and that's what about the cost was. And I was like, that's so expensive. I can get a 4 terabyte hard drive.
Yeah.
For under $100.
Oh yeah. It's not super expensive. Like a bit more if it's an SSD, but
yeah. But
fair
like
enough,
like even then, it's still not 2 terabytes for $400. It's not $200 per terabyte.
No, that's ridiculous.
And I'm sitting there going, what is the next generation of consoles going to look like? Because this generation is already wildly expensive. For what it is, for really what we're getting,
And they're already talking about the next generation.
We think about consoles. We think about things. Let's be real. I know we complain a lot about the Switch too, but that's sort of what we expect.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting something that is a console. It's about $400 to $500, but it plays games and it does what it does, right?
Yeah.
Now we're dropping $1,000 to spend another $100 per game, and their limitations are just massive. Like, they do have massive limitations. When okay, $1,000 for a new Xbox in one go, or maybe getting yourself a PC, building yourself a PC, and it's like, okay, well, I can spend that same money and build myself something good, and then in 2 years' time, I've saved up enough money to make it even better. I'll put a new graphics card in it, I'll put a new power supply in it, and you can upgrade portionally so that it's not one big cost at one time, but those upgrades give you a lot more value than the new console.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, so as I said, I had to get it. I'd already bought a bunch of games for it. I wasn't going to be like, oh, well, I'll just accept that that's money I've lost. That's not how I do it. And I always plan on getting it. But I will say, buying it and sitting there and actually thinking about it and doing it, I'm just like, I understand why most people are switching to PC now and just staying with PC. And I've always been someone who's like, don't get me wrong, even if I do stop buying Xboxes, I'll probably still buy their controllers because I use them for my PC.
Oh yeah,
you can hate me for that if you want, but
yeah,
there are some games that are just better played with the controller.
Super funny, man.
Don't fight me on that. It's
it's true.
It's not a conversation. It's not something where it's like, oh, I understand that you have an opinion. No, there are some games that are better on controllers. There are some games that are better on a mouse and keyboard. Each game has its advantages.
Oh, of course.
But I'm kind of sitting here going like, now being all just like, it's a lot of money.
Of course it is.
it's a lot of money for something, and maybe it's not a lot of money for something that's going to last you 7 odd years, 8 odd years, depending. But it is now, with the price of games going up, you kind of have to think about how you're spending that money a little bit more wisely.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's say you get the new console at the start of its generation, and then every year you go, okay, well, for the next console, I'm going to put away $100 a year. That's nothing.
Yeah,
that's really nothing. And by the time that next console comes out, you've got $700-800.
Yeah.
However, the problem is that next console is probably going to be closer to $1,200. So you're like, okay, it's still going to cost me $400, but it's not too much of a straight up cost because I've been putting away money for this.
And let's face it, you can probably do a bit more than 100 in a year.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But this is just a hypothetical.
Yeah, of course.
But then I would argue, okay, well, instead of taking that $1,200 and getting the new console, take that $1,200 and buy PC parts and build yourself a PC.
Yeah.
One, you gain a skill building a PC. There's lots of tutorials out there that can help you do it, and there's a lot of stuff out there that will make your life a lot easier with it all. Two, as I said, it's just as the consoles are becoming more and more expensive, it's harder to justify them against getting a PC, which can do so much more and has so much more.
And then generally, it's not, I need a whole new PC. It's like, I need to upgrade this one part.
Yeah.
Which eventually may need you to upgrade a second one at the same time.
Yeah. And
mainly like a power supply or something, but other than that, it's got far more longevity out of it.
Yeah. And probably other than the processor and the GPU, everything else is well within the amount of money you can spend on a year to upgrade. It's like, I've got to upgrade the power supply. Okay, well, that might be maybe $100-200.
Yeah.
To get the new one that you need. Again, you can get over that by just getting a pretty powerful one to begin with.
Yeah.
And as long as you're above your minimum requirements, you're good. So maybe you don't need to upgrade that. But graphics cards, they can be a couple $1,000s or whatever if you want to get the brand new ones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And obviously the same with the CPU. And you might need to upgrade your motherboard if you're getting a new CPU.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do them at the same time. You can be like, okay, I really need, my CPU is now 10 years out of date. I should get a new one.
Yeah.
But again, if you're doing that thing that I said where you're just putting, $100 away every year, 10 years, that's $1,000. Okay, that should get you a pretty decent, But the point is, I think as the generations of consoles move, they're becoming much closer to computers.
Oh yeah.
But they have the limitations that a computer doesn't. And so it's not like, oh well, hang on, I bought my here's a really good example. When I bought my Xbox 360 Slim, I didn't even consider being like, oh, well, actually, because I'm upgrading, maybe I should get a PlayStation. Maybe I should get a PC.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go and just get a gaming PC. Because I was like, this is $400.
Yeah, it was
a gaming PC that's going to give me the same kind of advantages. I'm going to need to spend close to $1,000, $1,500 on.
Oh, of course.
And it's like, so it wasn't even a question.
No.
Whereas now, as I said, $700 for the Xbox, and I'm like, okay, well, what kind of graphics card could I get for $700?
Yeah, that's a fair question.
And you're kind of sitting there going, because that's, and I'm not gonna lie, I reckon if I looked, I could probably get something maybe 2 generations old, but that's really not that old.
No, it's what, 2 years?
Yeah.
Less than 2 years?
It's like I could probably get something in the 30 range and be like, yeah, that's
still really good.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And then what? Well, on my PC I can play Xbox games, I can play PlayStation games.
Yeah.
I can play, PC games. I have all these more options, And oh well, I can buy them on Steam, I can buy them on Windows, I can buy, there's
a lot of things.
There's a lot of different places where you can go and get stuff, and so it's like it is becoming a better option because the consoles are kind of pricing themselves into the range of the PC, and I just think it's a bad idea. Like, if we're being honest, when the generation of the 5 and the Series X came out, people were saying this will probably be the last generation because the costs are getting up into PC range, and honestly, that's not a fight the console can win. And when I first heard that, I was kind of like, no, I think that. But now, now I'm definitely in the area where I'm like, actually,
it's
the consoles can't compete with the PC, and if the consoles are getting in the price of PCs, even a low grade PC, like a low grade gaming PC, so you've got everything you need to play games, will tide you over because of the upgradability.
Oh yeah, of course.
And it's like, oh, I'm having an issue with this, let me just upgrade it. Oh, I'm having an issue with this, let me just upgrade it. And then again, and this is something where the Xbox and the PlayStation both have massive issues. Oh, you're out of storage? Don't worry. You can go and buy this chip that's going to cost you $400.
Yeah.
That will increase your storage. No, the PC just goes, whack another hard drive in there. You got one? Oh, you don't? Okay, we'll go buy one.
Well, the Xbox still lets you use external hard drives.
Sort of.
Yeah.
There is an issue, and you probably haven't come across this issue.
Probably not.
Because if it's a Series X game specifically, it does need to be internally installed.
So it is actually doing the same thing PlayStation is
doing exactly the same thing.
Okay.
Or it can be on that external chip, but it needs to be on one of those two, which means they've literally put you in a position where it's like, you either constantly move games around or you spend an extra $400, making the console, in my situation, almost $1,200.
Oh yeah, of course.
Almost $1,200 to have a console that can play and can store and not be a hassle. Because here's the thing, and this is something that I'm like, it's not ending the world. It is annoying though. Having to move games might only take, 10, 15 minutes. But if I want to play that game right now, I'm being told you have to wait 10, 15 minutes to play it. Not a good look.
Yeah, and you don't really want to be thinking about the next day.
Yeah, exactly. I'm especially, as I said, that 1 terabyte. That 1 terabyte, when every game, like I'm talking about, because I have a lot of sports games that I bought back in the days when I was like, you're getting both editions. You compare the 2 editions. NBA 2K22.
Yeah.
The Xbox One edition, something like 70 gig.
Yep.
It's pretty big. The Xbox Series X edition, 130 gig.
Jesus Christ.
That's 60 gig more. And it needs to be installed onto a 1 terabyte hard drive. When they made, and this is something that I'm really annoyed at Xbox for, when they made the special edition, it's a special edition and it's got 2 terabytes in it, that should have been the end of the 1 terabyte hard drive. That should have been the end of the 1 terabyte Xbox.
It should have.
Every Xbox should have now been installed with a 2 terabyte capacity, because you put it in because it was necessary.
Yeah.
And you went, oh, okay, but this will help sell these ones. Truth is, it's just necessary. As I said, no game company, I know that 1 terabyte's probably the cheap point, where they're like, oh, this is the cheapest point we can go. Like, if we put in 2 terabytes, it's adding this extra cost that people won't want. But the truth is, 1 terabyte was massive when we had
the previous generation. Actually, no.
Our Xbox 360s. Our PlayStation 3s.
Yeah, it's true.
They were coming out with 500 gig, and you're like, shit, that's a lot of game space.
Yeah,
because games were like...
With the 4 and the 1, they pretty much got to a point of like, they all still only came out with the 500, and I was like, what the hell? And then it was an edition that gave you 1 terabyte, and you're like, finally, it's still not enough.
Exactly. Yeah. And like in the ones and the 4, the last generation, if you will, 1 terabyte at the beginning seemed massive. It was like having the 500 in the generation before. When a game is 60 gigabytes, and in the era of the 360, that seemed massive. But like a game with 6 gigabytes, and you're like, shit, okay, that's a pretty big game. That's like an update now.
Oh yeah.
That's a oh, we updated yesterday and we're updating again today. That's 6 gigabytes. You're like, yep, absolutely, whatever.
Yeah.
That was, 500 gigabytes when games were less than 10 was massive. When big games were 10, you were like, I could still have like 50 games on this.
Oh yeah, you still didn't care that
Then
much.
the next generation came out, and again, 500 and 1 terabyte, and you were like, 1 terabyte, I can have so many games. But then games started to get a lot bigger.
Oh yeah.
And now we're dealing with games that were 30, 40 gigs, and you're like, okay, but I still have 1 terabyte.
Yeah, it's
Then we
fun.
started dealing with games that were 60 to 70 gigs, and you're like, I still have 1 terabyte. Then games started to creep over 100 gig.
Yeah, and that's when
you were like, okay, terabyte.
You can't even have 10 games.
Now,
it was part of
every game is over 100.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and you're still only giving me a terabyte? Oh, well, anything more would be too expensive. The storage needs to go up.
It does.
But I believe this is an issue, again, with the consoles, and what they're doing is everything's about fidelity and frame rate.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, that is what the Call of Duty boys are screaming about.
Yeah.
That's what the basic Call of Duty boy is screaming about. I only play Call of Duty and I want a faster frame rate and better looking graphics.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That's fine. They only play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But for most gamers who play more than one game, they don't... Okay, bring the graphics down a little bit. Okay, I don't care. I play a vast variety of games.
Yeah.
Whatever. We already have games that are looking photorealistic.
Yeah.
In their environments and stuff. We don't need more graphics processing power. Bring that down a bit.
Okay.
Frame rate. Okay, yeah, we all want good frame rates. But reality is, we don't really need more than 60. Because a lot of TVs can't do that. And a lot of people play their games on TVs.
Yep.
So being able to play at 170 frames is great. Except my TV can't play. It doesn't have that fast of a refresher rate, so it's useless.
Yeah.
Storage is what I care about, because I want more than one game to play. I didn't spend $700 to play a singular game.
No.
And that's the issue. When you're asking for so much money, but then and every game is costing me so much, I do expect to be able to play those games when I want to. Not have to be like, oh, hang on, let me move 100 gigabytes around.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
This is the area where I think we are dying on this hill. Storage.
Oh yeah.
1 terabyte is not enough. 2 terabytes is not enough. We are in the era where 10 terabytes should be being put into these consoles, because, the reality should be, okay, a game is this big, so how many... The thing they should be looking at is, if a game... You should be able to fit between 30 and 50 games on a console.
Yeah.
Because that is... Even if you are someone who only buys 1 or 2 video games a year, which is kind of where we are with the price of video games, this console will last X amount of years. So even at the minimum, you're buying 3 games a year, and that should be what they consider the minimum.
Yeah.
You will have enough to put have all those games installed at once.
And then never have to uninstall anything.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Not, oh, well, if you buy 1 video game a year and you're happy to uninstall, then you've got enough space. No. This is supposed to be something that lasts me 7 to 8 years.
Yeah.
I need enough space so that I can have 7 to 8 years worth of video games on there. And maybe someone not like me who, I buy maybe, 10 video games a year.
Yeah.
But, okay, so, you're not looking at me. But as I said, someone who buys 3, well, what? That's
pretty standard amount.
That's 24 odd video games. So 30.
That would be the average console-only gamer. Yeah. It's like when you play on whatever the hell you want, you're buying more than 3. Easy. Yeah. Like, I play on whatever I want, but I'm still only buying about 3. That's about where I sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and then you've got Game Pass as well. The second they added Game Pass, they should have gone, oh shit, yeah, these games are like 100. As I said, 30 games in a lifetime. Okay,
Yeah.
if you aim to be able to install 30 games at once on a console, you're okay. I won't be like, that's ridiculous. But, and I can actually show this to Kris because I think it's a pretty good indication. And he can back me up here. We'll just jump over. I just got to change my screens over. Sorry. Having a lot of screens is great, but changing things over. Yeah. But 30 games is what a console should be able to hold internally. So if you've got 100 gigabyte games, if that's how big you've got to make the games to make them the way you want them, then you need to put the storage to hold 30 100 gigabyte games. That's all there is to it. What I'm about to show Kris is the internal hard drive of my Xbox.
Yeah.
The one that I just bought 3 days ago.
Which would be what? 700 gig?
Okay, there we go. Internal space.
802.
802. Let's have a look at the content, shall we? How many games are there, Kris?
11.
11. I have 11 games. Now, some of them I'm going to move off. Some of them I can't move off because they're Xbox Series X games and they need to be installed here.
I see two. Yeah, I see two.
11 games.
Yeah.
11 games for something that's supposed to last me 8 years. And how much space do I have left? Less than a I could maybe put one more game on there. Maybe. Because
depending on the game.
I'm in the range of a game might be bigger, a game might be smaller. Yeah. One of the games I'm installing is an Xbox One game. Even though I have the X version's 170 gigabytes. I don't have the room to put it on in this drive. I have the room with all of my drives, but again, I don't want to transfer 170 odd terabytes. Gigabytes, sorry, not terabytes. That would be crazy even for me. I don't want to transfer that every time I just want to play a game.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
And because I'm a gamer the way I am, I'm not someone who goes, oh, hang on, I'm just going to play this one game to completion
for the next 6 months. No,
I'm someone who goes, I want to play this game today. Okay, I played a bit of this game. Actually, now that I've played a bit of that game and that's been serious, now I just want to chill out with something soft and easy. Yeah. So I'll play this game. Okay, well, now that I've played that game, let's go on. Tomorrow I might play a completely different game. 11 games, honestly, I could probably play all of them that I wanted to in probably 2 days. Because I do like to vary what I play. Yeah. I don't like to just sit there and play one thing constantly over and over again. Don't get me wrong, I often do. I get that, gamer super focus where I'm like, I'm getting through this. But that only lasts about a week.
Yeah, that seems
and then I'm like, okay, I don't actually want to play that game for a couple of weeks now. I don't want to uninstall it. I don't want to move it off something. I just don't want to play that right now. Maybe I want to play another game. Maybe I want to play a different genre of games. The whole reason we have genre of games is so that we can get different feelings and do different things. It would be like if you had to go to the movies and always watch horror movies, and you're like, oh, I'm in the mood to laugh. Oh, sorry, we only have horror movies. Oh. Okay, well, then...
I mean, you could laugh at those these days.
You could, but at the same point, it's no comedy. No. I want something that I can just switch my brain off to and watch big explosions. We have horror movies. Oh.
Yeah.
I want a thrilling documentary on something really interesting. We have horror movies. We have different genres because you might feel like doing something different. And I don't think that these modern consoles have enough space for it. Now, I will say that PlayStation does have a small advantage as long as you're willing to take it apart.
Yes, and that's the main thing, taking it apart.
You can put in a... Now, I don't know how difficult that is. Honestly, I haven't looked at it. I don't think Kris would be happy if I rocked over to his house with my screwdrivers and hammer.
Why a hammer?
I go over it with hammer.
Fair enough.
And say, hey, Kris, I just want to have a look and see. But you can use any... I can't remember the exact code for the SSD sticks, pretty much.
Can you use any of them?
I'm pretty sure you can use
I'd have to look it up.
And they're expensive. I was looking at putting one in my PC to increase my storage again.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Actually, that is my next step for increasing my storage in my PC.
Yeah, I'm aware.
I'm going to get one of them. And, it's, you know, you got to have the heatsink and all that kind of stuff because they get hot. But, you know, you put one of them in, you get 2 terabyte or 1 terabyte of extra storage.
Yeah.
Costs you maybe $170, $180.
I'm glad they came down, though.
They did.
First time I looked at an SSD, it was like 400 for 2 terabytes.
Yeah, but they will come down.
Oh, they will.
And this is where I think Xbox has fucked themselves royally.
Yeah.
Because you have to buy their chip.
Yeah.
And their chip is made by one company. And that chip's price won't come down.
No.
Whereas everyone else's prices come down because market share and competition.
Yep.
When you have a thing that only works with your console, you say what the price is. And unless they're bringing that price down, it's really not worth it.
Oh, yeah. And when you look at the amount it actually costs to make some of these, is the price so high to start with?
Look, we won't get into it, but storage is expensive. Like, for...
I'm aware.
It's not, but it is. It's sort of... It's a funny kind of thing, because, like, if you think about how much storage 1 terabyte is, it's a lot. If you were to imagine 1 Tupperware container as the basic unit of storage, a byte, a terabyte is so many that Tupperware containers that you probably wouldn't even be able to fit them all in my large house.
No. Well, you probably could, but...
Well, I don't think so. How much is a megabyte?
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
1,000 bytes.
Yeah. You wouldn't have.
How much is a gigabyte? 1,000 megabytes.
Yeah, that's right.
How much is a terabyte? 1,000 gigabytes.
Yeah.
So it's a byte times 10 to the 9. No, 10. What to the 12?
Yeah.
So it's massive.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So the amount of storage you're getting is a lot, and you're really not paying that much for it. Yeah. Like, think about the cost if you wanted to store 10 to the 12 Tupperware containers on a property. Think of how much money that would cost you to buy that property. That'd be like $600,000-$700,000.
Oh yeah.
But the problem is, you know, to use my Tupperware analogy because it's going so well for me, if you were to have 130 gig worth of Tupperware containers to have a meal, that's too much.
Oh,
that storage isn't very. Even though you can store all that space, what it's being used for isn't very good.
Oh no,
you're not getting much in there. You're not getting a week's worth of meals in there. Is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah.
You know, so it's a problem that needs to be fixed. Xbox need to either bring the price of their thing down and be like, you know what, we'll just take the loss on this one. But I don't actually think it's them taking the loss.
No, so honestly, they wouldn't be taking a loss.
Well, the thing is this. Because it's made by Seagate.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be... I think if they were to bring that price down, it would actually be Seagate taking the loss. Because we know that from example, we know that Xbox are actually willing to take a loss to look better.
Yes.
Because they've got all of Microsoft's money behind them.
Well, true, yes.
However, Seagate aren't so happy to take that loss to make Xbox look better.
Because I honestly have a feeling that PlayStation's the same and it's Seagate that you have to use.
I'm pretty sure you can get away with using anyone, but you do have some restrictions. But that being said, you can get some pretty decent ones. I think the only big issue with the PlayStation is actually making sure it fits with its heatsink. Because a few people are like, oh, this heatsink won't fit in there. I'll just put it in without, and then it just melts.
Yeah.
And so you need the heat. You need the heatsink.
Okay, yeah, you can go through a few different ones.
Yeah, you need the heatsink.
Yeah.
I think it just has to have a certain speed.
Yeah.
Just say, good and bad. Good that you can use anyone you want. Bad in the fact that you have to take apart your console.
Oh, yeah.
No storage solution should ever be, okay, so first of all, take apart your console.
Yeah.
Because, oh, sorry, I don't know how to do this thing. I'm just a gamer. Yep. I'm a console gamer, hence why I have a console, because I'm not very confident in putting together electronics, otherwise I would have built my own PC.
No, that's a fair point, though. That makes a lot of sense there. Yeah.
So taking it apart, as I said, if it is something as simple as like just pop this little bit here out, and oh look, there it is, access. You just slide it in there.
Oh yeah, to make it simple. But no, it is.
I doubt it's.
I'm pretty sure you've got to go past the point of like, hey, if you remove this, it voids warranties.
That would be very stupid of them.
It would be.
Because
I have a feeling it is, but I'm not sure.
No, you shouldn't say, oh, you can put in more storage, it'll void your warranty, but you can put in more. No, that should never be a thing.
No,
and if that is the case, then again, Xbox has won that small piece of that argument.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, you can put in the extra storage without voiding your warranty. Great, Xbox, you won that, but also at the same time, why aren't you letting everyone make these chips so that we can bring these prices down?
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Oh, because Seagate have exclusivity rights because we sold them the rights to it. Right. Then you've won the fact that you don't void my warranty. You've lost the fact that you want me to spend pretty much... Like, seriously,
ridiculous.
It would be an argument of you sitting there being like, okay, hang on. Do I get 2 extra terabytes for my Xbox, or do I just buy another Xbox system?
Yeah, and that is the next
And then I'll just have 2 Xboxes, and, when I decide I no longer need them, instead of having an Xbox and a card, what I'll do is I'll have 2 Xbox, and I can sell them as 2 Xboxes.
Yeah.
And, that's what I'm saying. It's when the price of a part to make your Xbox more user-friendly is almost the cost of another whole Xbox, it's a loss. You've lost that one. You don't win that Xbox, because the thing is, if I'm literally thinking about, do I get another whole Xbox, or do I get this part to make it? You've lost. Okay, there's no winning that. But
no, yeah,
this is just the world that we live in. We live in a world where people don't think these things through, and people think it's acceptable to be like, oh, you've just got to do this. No, I don't. I don't just got to do that. What I can just do is stop buying your consoles. Go to a PC where it's like, hey, you want a new hard drive? Yeah, cool. Just plug it into a USB port.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah, we'll work. We'll fucking work. Might not be like 100% super speed, but if you don't care about that.
And in most cases.
And that's the issue with Xbox. They went, oh, but you can play it. We're going to put in all these things so that it's so fast and so this. And it's like, cool, but now you've made actually playing the games worse.
Yeah, the only time I care about the extra speed, GTA loading times. Holy shit.
That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, no.
We're actually talking about things like, oh, you can turn off your Xbox, turn it back on, and then pick up playing where you left off. Honestly, I don't give a fuck about that.
No, I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit about that. I've turned off the console.
I've turned on,
which means I've come to a point where I'm like, I'm happy to stop here.
Yeah.
I don't need to pick up right here. I'm not in the middle of something. I've turned it off. I'm happy to come back in, and maybe I have to spend 3 minutes getting back to where I was. I'm happy with that. I've made that decision. I would prefer to be able to play all of my games off any storage device than have these small little things that are like, oh, that's completely useless, and I guess it's sort of cool, but it's completely useless.
The amount of times I turn a console back on and it's saying that I've already got a game open, it's like pick up where you left off, and it's like, oh, I still had that open. I thought I turned it off.
I'm not going to lie to you.
That happens on Switch all the time.
If I turned on my console and it said to me, hey, do you want to pick up where you left off in this game? I'm like, absolutely not. I'm actually here to play a different game completely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much how that goes.
And it's like, yeah, you've put in something cool for a very small portion of things, but it's made the overall everything worse.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what we need to address. We need to address 2 things: the growing costs that are putting them into the price range of computers in which they can't win that fight, and the fact that they think 1 terabyte is enough. Look at the size of your games, guys. We're not even talking about like third-party games and being like, oh, it's not our fault, we didn't even know. You guys own Activision now. You guys own Call of Duty, which is getting up into 200 gigabytes of a game. It's ridiculous. If one of your games costs 200 gigabytes, 1 terabyte is not going to cut it. You have that first-hand experience. Fix it.
Because you still can't even get 5 games on that. You've only got 800 gig of space.
Exactly.
So, and then you've got the thing of, it may have may currently take up the 200 gig of space, but it's also like, but I need an extra 40 to 50 gig for future updates.
Yeah.
And it's so it takes 250.
Yep.
You know, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. And as I said, this isn't like, oh, this is a one-off third-party game, you know, that's taking way more. This is becoming the standard.
Yeah.
And when game standards are becoming so large, you need to increase your storage to max that out.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much more to say about it. I think that's a fair argument to make. You know, like sometimes I say things and I know that they're outrageous. It's just they annoy me. They annoy me, and I'm just like, I wanna have my piece on this.
Yeah.
But this is something that, you know, as I said, end of last generation, the 1 terabyte, everyone was being like, it's not enough.
Yeah.
For them to release the new generation, be like, it's 1 terabyte, guys. It'll be fine. It's not fine. It's nowhere near fine. It's nowhere near fine. And that's the issue. I think that's the big thing. Is like they're just going like, no. It'll be trust us. It'll be fine.
Mm.
And now they're like, oh, but hang on, we've come up with this thing. You probably won't need it, but if you feel like it, here you can spend an extra all of this money to get something that will make you feel better about it. And it's like, it's not making me feel better. No. It's almost a necessary part now. Yeah. And you're keeping it behind this ridiculously high price range. Mm. Oh, but we need to so we don't make a loss. Well, then maybe you need to think about your game sizes or your internal storage options.
Yeah.
I think that any console, and I'm going to say it, any console from the year 2024 onwards that doesn't have a 2 terabyte hard drive in it, as stock standard, is behind the times.
Oh, yeah. Well and truly.
And I think by the time we reach 2026, you know, in 6 months or whatever it is, anything that has less than a 5 terabyte hard drive in it will be below standard.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And again, I'll say this as well, because I think it needs to be said. Laptops. When a laptop's like, oh, we got 500 gigabytes, I'm like, bang, no, I'm not buying your fucking piece of shit laptop. It's only got 500 gigabytes of storage in it.
I ignored that immediately. Mine came with... Well, I think I ended up paying to get an extra 500 in it. So I had a terabyte in the end. It's not enough. Especially for a gaming laptop. As a standard laptop, if all you're doing it on is like basic work, like
even then, you would be surprised how quickly terabytes get used up by just all the constant stuff.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because it's like, oh, you've got this thing, well, that's going to need this much space. Oh, you got this thing, that's going to need this much space. Oh, you got this thing, that's going to take this much space. Or you run this program, that's going to use this much space.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you've got, because computers run so much more than just game, they are using a lot of their stuff. Yeah. They also use partition storages, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But anything in the modern era that has less than a terabyte is laughable. It is quite laughable, because it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And I think you would also find that people who don't game actually probably use more storage on storing things like, oh, well, I'll just download this video so I can watch it later.
Oh, yeah, and that takes a lot of space as well. Yeah. But if you were only to use it for a very basic course that doesn't need any special programs, you're probably not going to run into the issue.
Maybe. But anyway, as I said, if I walk into a place and they're sitting there and they're like, look at this laptop, it's this, and it has 500 gigabytes of storage.
Yeah.
Do you want me to break that with my hammer? Because it's useless.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll be like, no, but it's the brand. It's useless.
Yes.
But as I said, I'm pretty much of the opinion, you know, when we roll into that year 2026, 5 terabytes minimum.
Yeah, I agree. Otherwise, it's going to get ridiculous.
Look, by the time we hit next year, game sizes, I reckon, GTA 6.
Oh, it's going to be massive.
That's probably going to be a 300 gigabyte game.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Like I wouldn't even say that could be...
maybe optimization brings it down to 200 gigabyte.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I still think it's going to be
higher. If Call of Duty is fucking at the size it is now, GTA 6 is going to be massive.
Oh, of course it is. It's going to be so much bigger.
Yeah. Using up about half of your storage to have GTA 6 is not going to be.
No,
that's not going to be okay.
No, of course not.
So,
Well, it's half your storage, and then future updates. That's what makes it worse.
I think that's the big thing, and I think that's the thing that is being overlooked. Everyone's always talking about, oh, this one's got this, and this it can do this, and it can do this. How about we talk about storage? How about we talk about, oh, you can play this game so well because it's got this graphics card and this processor, and it has ray tracing. And it's like, cool, but how many games can I play on it? Well, you can play this one really good. Okay, but about storage wise, yeah, well, you can probably install 2 games on it. I don't give a fuck then. I'll go back to my original PlayStation, where a fucking tiny ass memory card could store all the data I needed for heaps of games.
Yeah.
And, I could play every single fucking game without issue.
Well, that was also back when the only thing that was being saved on it was the save file.
Well, yes.
Because everything was on the discs.
Don't even get me started on that.
I think we've already talked about that.
How can I have... you put your disc in and then it downloads it onto the console. Why? Well, that way you don't have to have your disc. No, I still have to have my disc. Oh, but that's just a licensing. No. If it's on the disc, I shouldn't need to install it onto my console. Updates, I get. Yes, put the updates on the console.
Yeah.
However, the actual game itself should be played off the fucking disc. Oh, but that might not be the fastest. I don't give a fuck about fastest.
Really don't.
I don't give a fucking shit about microsecond fucking signal sending or whatever it is that you're trying to sell me on. What I care about is being able to play games when I want to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking hell.
And that's the other thing. Play games when we want to. Yeah. What's that? Your internet's down? Well, that rules out these games. What's that? It's a single player game? Still rules it out.
No, see, what's worse than that? Oh, you want to play that game? Your internet's out. Oh, don't worry. We have a system where it's like, if your internet's out, as long as it's only out for less than 24 hours, you can still play the game.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have that. Oh, wait, no, that game needs an update? No, you can't play it. Oh, I can't play this version I have because I don't have access. No, that game needs an update and you can't play it.
Yeah.
It's been locked out of the system until it's updated.
And that's actually an upside that Nintendo has. It doesn't force you into the updates. It asks you if you want to update it now or continue playing. And it's like, yeah, I want to play now. I'm going to continue playing. I'll do the update. Probably never because I'm going to forget about it.
I'll do the update next time I turn this on and want to play this game.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I think it's ridiculous. And I think that any system that makes me look at the Switch 2 and say, it's actually an okay thing is ridiculous also.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is.
Because the Switch 2 is not okay. Okay? The Switch, the original Switch should have been the Switch 2.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. The Switch 2 is like a Switch Pro that should have been the original one. Yeah. And those Joy-Cons are still stupid and are likely to break.
We'll wait and see how often.
Let's be real, let's be true, let's be fair. How many people had issues with the original Switch's Joy-Cons?
Oh, the moment they came out and putting them on the wrong fucking side?
But not even that. Shit like, oh yeah, I've had it for like 6 weeks and these controllers are drifting and they're broken and they're not good.
Yeah.
That kind of shit is unacceptable.
Oh yeah.
Did I ever actually say my issue about the batteries? I don't think I did. Let's just quickly talk about that, because I'm pretty sure I started this whole rant off with that, but I never fucking said it.
No.
I've had this controller for 3 days.
Oh, and it's still charged?
No.
No?
It's already on its second set of batteries. Again, I'm not 100% sure that's Xbox's fault, and I can and will probably end up playing it with the USB-C. My Xbox isn't too far away, I can have a cable, but I'm already on a second set of batteries. Is that Xbox's fault? No. My Duracells here, which are fucking empty, that came with it, I can't blame Xbox for Duracell right?
Yeah.
That seems like a Duracell kind of issue.
True.
However, none of my batteries have been lasting very long.
No.
So that's either an issue with the way we're making batteries now, which I wouldn't put it past.
It's a weird thing because I feel like I've always had less time with standard batteries. I get more out of the rechargeable ones that you can buy for your controllers.
Yeah, and
you get a lot more time.
That is something I will look into. But my batteries be dead. These Duracells, they're dead. Yeah. Okay, they've only been in the controller for.
You might get another month for a TV remote.
Yeah,
that's it.
But I have issue with that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying this is the console's problem or the, Xbox's issue. This might be with the battery industry. But what the fuck's going on with our AA batteries? Okay? These things used to last me months.
In a handheld console, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm replacing console batteries every couple of days.
Yeah.
And I'm going...
It's too much. And that now becomes a super expensive way to go.
Yeah.
So you are better off now just biting the... As much as a pack of batteries is cheaper than grabbing a battery specific for controllers, that is now the cheapest option.
Yeah.
Because you can keep using
Or I just have to go back and do something I did back in the days of the Xbox 360.
And just use a cable.
Well, no.
No.
Go in and buy a bunch of rechargeable AAAs and constantly have them charging next to me. And be like, these are dead. Charge them up. Whatever. But I just want to know what's going on with the battery industry. Why is it that my batteries don't last how they
I honestly think it could be the controllers.
Could be. It could be that these controllers drain so much.
These controllers have updates.
True.
So they're using more power than they used to.
True.
And that's not something that necessarily the battery companies are going, oh, we need to focus on this.
No, absolutely not.
So
the battery companies don't give a fuck about the gaming industry because they are in the battery industry.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that it also wouldn't surprise me if if these batteries are changing from the old batteries to make them more green or whatever.
Maybe.
Which is making them less efficient. Maybe we need to do a deep dive into batteries.
Maybe I need to get easier too.
Maybe I need to get onto one of these science YouTubers and tell them to do a deep dive into batteries.
Maybe.
Or maybe we just get a pair of scissors out and cut this battery in half right here. I'm not gonna fucking do that. Trust me, I've had enough issues with battery acid in the past. But that was the whole thing that started this. 3 days, I've had a controller for literally less than 3 days. I had to replace them last night. I got this.
Did you even mention it initially?
Yeah, I said that's why I started off with how long I've had the console for.
Oh, okay.
Then we got onto storage.
Yeah.
But I bought this console Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Last night, Tuesday night, I had to replace the batteries in the controller.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
And because I got it Sunday, I was installing stuff onto it. So I wasn't really using the controller.
No.
Monday, I played a bit of games, but I also did work for the channel. So I was doing editing and stuff. I wasn't actually playing games all day. Yeah. I was only really playing games in the afternoon.
Yeah, sounds right.
Tuesday, I was also installing more stuff. So I did have it next to me on doing stuff. So I was moving stuff and installing stuff. So I was actually using it. But Tuesday evening, the batteries died.
Yeah.
So that's not even 3 full days of use.
Yeah.
That's like a day of use. A day of use drained my batteries. And that's ridiculous. That's almost as ridiculous as 1 terabyte of storage. And that's pretty ridiculous. Look at Chris's face. Look how shocked he is. Look how shocked he is. Stop looking at his face. It's very ugly. You'll go blind. But guys, thank you for joining us. If you have liked this video, consider liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing. If you haven't already, it really does mean a lot to us here. If you want to see more from me and Kris, we play video games. We do it. We're average at it. But we play a whole variety because, as we've stated with the whole argument of today's thing, we like video games. Yeah. And we play a lot of video games. Lots of different ones.
Yeah.
But also some of the same ones.
Yeah.
Anything else, Kris?
No, I think that pretty much sums us up.
I think that pretty much sums us up. So once again, thank you for joining us. I've been Darcy. He's been Kris.
Yeah, I have.
We'll catch you next time right here on the channel. But until then, guys, see you later. Finger guns.
See ya.
Stop looking at his face. It's ugly. No, stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
My neck,
twice.
motherfucker.
That's twice in 2 weeks.
It was, yeah.